bringing you news, politics, and whatever else tickles my fancy. Welcome to the Ho-Ho Show, and I'm your host, Ho-Ho. We're broadcasting from the Semi in Woodstock, Ontario, our neighbors to the north, Canada. Check out my website, thehohoshow.com. You can follow me on Twitter. You can email me, hoho@thehohoshow.com. You can find me on Facebook and check out my YouTube channel. Welcome to the Ho-Ho Show, and as always, I am your host, Ho-Ho. All right, guys, this is basically going to be an ACA episode. That is the Affordable Care Act. So I read an article, and a lot of this I had already heard, and heard being tossed around, suspected, and different things like that. But it's one thing to kind of interpret it this way yourself, and then to have somebody else in a reputable news source basically say the exact same thing that you had suspected and had read and had interpreted a huge book to more or less mean. So, of course, I got this from Flipboard, which is my go-to news hub for anything, everything, and all things news. And this comes from the Weekly Standard. And I hopped into my DeLorean. I got up to 88 miles an hour. I kicked on the flux capacitor, 1.21 gigawatts of electricity flowed through that sucker, and I went into the future, October 23rd of 2017 to be exact, and got this article from the Weekly Standard. Okay, so maybe that's all completely horseshit. Maybe it is. But, all right, so the headline is Death Panels. Sarah Palin was right. And that's the headline. Now, this sucker goes into, a lot of different things, and basically the biggest part of what this sucker's focusing on, and I do definitely recommend you guys read this. I will put a link to this article in my on my blog, which will be available through thehohoshow.com on the news page, and it's basically talking about IPAB or IPAB, and I have that's what it is. I was going to say I have absolutely no idea what that stands for, but that stands for the Independent Payment Advisory Board. So what's important, very, very important to note about this Independent Payment Advisory Board, okay? These guys they have no oversight, and basically they can choose whatever they want, and whatever they say goes, without congressional oversight, without basically the hope of anything else getting done. I mean, it's just this article. It really spells out things pretty good on this. Truth be told, But oh crap! Are you kidding me? I did not mean to do that. Dadgummit. Let me get back into it again. Sorry about that. So it's okay. So the Independent Payment Advisory Board stated purpose is to contain Medicare costs. But the powers granted to the presidentially appointed and confirmed commissioners subvert democratic accountability and violate our constitutional system of separation of powers. They could one day be weaponized to implement individual medical discrimination mandates, like healthcare rationing. Okay, now that is, of course, a clip from the article, and that right there should terrify the holy crap out of you. It really should. It does not have any type of congressional oversight. They are appointed and confirmed, not elected. They are appointed, and they oversee the basically the rising in healthcare costs, and more or less is what it amounts to is, during your later years when healthcare, whenever your healthcare cost represents about, a quarter of your total cost throughout your entire lifetime, they're like, we're just going to cut that short. If you're somebody who cannot contribute socially to, participate into in society, then they're going to cut you off. Death panels. And of course, one of the ages that they say is basically, as far as the cutoff line goes, is like somewhere between 65 and 70. Is like, after 70, then you are no longer a contributing member to society, and therefore your healthcare benefits, your healthcare right, gets cut off. So if you get sick that requires anything more than a nice little bitty pill, you're SOL. That's right. You're completely shit out of luck. Unless, of course, you're, part of the, political class, unless you are privileged, a privileged individual, then you can have all the health care you want. But if you are an average everyday citizen like myself, well, then once you reach the age of, 70, 65, when you are no longer a contributing member of society, then you're screwed. You get sick, you die. Sorry about the luck. Don't know what to tell you. I mean, if you want to, you can go down south to Mexico for treatment. I mean, they'd be happy to take care of you. Oh, wait, no. That's right. Mexicans come up here for treatment. Oh, well, you can always go up to Canada. They have single payer and whatnot up there. You can go up there and get healthcare benefits and see a doctor and get taken care of. Oh, wait, shit. Nope. I'm sorry. I was wrong on that too. You see, they come down here as well. Oh, well, holy crap. What are we supposed to do then? What the heck? But yeah, so guys, let's just, these guys are just basically members of a bureaucratic board, and all they do is, they make what's one of that things that I read? Oh yeah, and that's one thing too, that Obama and different people like that, they wanted to give this, independent payment advisory board, more power than what Obamacare had originally given them. And so let's see. Let me read this excerpt too. Let's see. The IPAB is required to submit a cost-cutting proposal to Congress by the following January. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me back up. Let's see. Obtaining public comment, rather, when projected medical expenses exceed a given amount. Yeah, let me back that up a little bit. All right, so unlike members of the most bureaucratic board, IPAB commissioners do not have to comply with such typical administrative procedures as obtaining public comment. Rather, when projected Medicare expenses exceed a given amount, which has not yet happened since Obamacare's passage, hence its quiescence. Hence people not talking about it. IPAB is required to submit a cost-cutting proposal to Congress by the following January 15th, which in turn must be introduced as enabling legislation without change by the House and Senate majority leaders the same day it is received. By April 1st, the relevant committees must complete their consideration of the legislation. Any committee that fails to meet that deadline will be discharged from further involvement in the matter. Congress is handcuffed from considering any legislation or amendment that does not meet the IPAB financial targets or that would repeal or change the fast-track process without a 3/5 majority or 60 votes of the Senate. Non-germane amendments are not permitted, meaning the proposal has to be passed or has to be brought up Yeah, it has to be introduced the exact same day it is given to them. And it has to go through the committees by April 1st. And nobody can change anything about it. And if it's going to be, taken away, it has to be taken away by a supermajority. And even if, damn it, I hate you, I really do, fucking smartphones. And if if the, let's see, in its jurisdiction, here we go, IPAB is more powerful than the president, Congress, and the courts. If Congress does not pass a proposal before August 15th, or if the president vetoes the proposal passed by Congress, the original IPAB recommendations automatically go into effect. Once enacted, the IPAB mandate is not subject to administrative or judicial review. Yeah. That should absolutely piss you off. They write a proposal. They give it to Congress by January 15th. It has to be introduced the same day. Has to be taken to committee and passed the committee and basically be put on the president's desk by April 15th. Even if, and if it's going to be overturned, oh yeah, and it has to be introduced in the exact same language as it was given to them. They cannot do anything to change the writing, to change the language, to change any of the proposals. They can't do anything to change it, to alter it, do anything. If it's going to be turned down, it has to be turned down by a supermajority. Even if it is vetoed, it still goes into effect. Are you shitting me? You mean to tell me a panel of people is going to be in charge of this entire thing without any congressional oversight, without being held accountable by the electorate? Is that what you mean to tell me? Is that what we have gone to? Is that what Obamacare is really all about? Are you fucking kidding me? This, ladies and gentlemen, is horseshit. This is the biggest loss of freedom that we have seen in this nation since its founding. A monopoly, a government monopoly on health care. And now, death panels. The full lives system. That once you reach a certain age and the cost of your health care goes up, they no longer consider you a contributing member of society, and you're better off just laying down in your grave and dying. That's what these people are saying. To you. To me. To my family, to your family, but not to their own. Because you know damn good and well, they already wrote the exemption saying that if they require a shit ton of medication, a healthcare procedure at 80, they'll get it. If I need it, tough shit. You die. I die. That's what this thing looks like. Am I being paranoid? Why do you think I'm being paranoid if it's written in the very language of this sucker? All right. And this headline comes from the Weekly Standard. This isn't some made-up news source. You know? Hello. This should absolutely infuriate you. Every single one of you. I mean, holy crap. Now, at current, the IPAB is precluded from changing Medicare benefits or revising eligibility standards. So it can't ration care. But that leaves few means of reducing costs other than altering reimbursements, formulas to doctors, and hospitals. Now, these things, and I'm still going through the article and reading this. I mean, this still comes from the article. All right. Now, at the time they wrote this, it was necessary for them to do that because otherwise it wouldn't have been passed. However, they flat said that the IPAB was never meant to be so constrained. It was meant to break free and to basically rule healthcare reimbursements. Yeah. I mean, this is just unreal. It really is. Totally unreal. Yeah, and this is funny too. All right, so this is coming from I don't even know where. No one wants to lose an aging parent, and with the price out of the equation, it's natural for patients and families to try for every treatment regardless of expense or efficiency. But that imposes an enormous societal cost that few other nations have been willing to bear. Many countries whose healthcare systems are regularly extolled, including Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, have systems for rationing care. Okay, yeah, and the people whom get sick in those countries come to America for health care. Because up there, regardless of whether you have the ability to pay or not, because their word is God, they will not let you do anything other than what they tell you to do. And if you don't think that same thing is coming here, you're fooling yourself. You are an idiot. Because it is. It absolutely is coming here. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. Biggest lie ever told, and it was believed by so many Americans that he got elected into office twice. Oh, yeah. Why do you think they campaigned, the Republicans campaigned on repeal and replace? Why do you think we put them into office? So they can hem-haw around and make it to where this thing basically stays put and there's nothing we can do about it? This thing needs to be dismantled. It needs to be taken apart. And it needs to be taken apart now. No ifs, no ands, no buts, no compromise. It needs to go to the wayside. It never should have been enacted in the first place. It was unconstitutional then. It's unconstitutional now. I don't care what word they put in there. I don't care if they want to say it's this, that, and the other. It doesn't matter because everybody knows what this thing was whenever they put it into place. And they let it happen anyway. The American people let it happen anyway. Oh yeah, I'm angry. I am absolutely infuriated about this shit. I mean, you have some states where there is no choice. The monopoly is government. You have no choice. If you want health care, you have to either pay a fine or get it from one source. Where's the competition? Where is different companies fighting for my business? You know? Maybe you guys heard my episode on free market capitalism. It lays it out pretty clear. If you have no competition, the seller is king. And the seller can do whatever the hell they want to when the customer doesn't have a choice. Well, you shouldn't want that. I don't give a damn what you think I should want. I don't give a damn what you think I should pay for. Nobody knows me better than me and my doctor. And for anybody else to have any say in my health care is wrong. Absolutely. This is the absolute biggest loss of freedom, the biggest move to socialism since our nation's founding. Make no mistake about it. It needs to be dismantled. It needs to be taken apart. And people in office needs to know you're serious about getting rid of this. Because they don't give a shit. They're not going to be held accountable to this. They are not going to be restricted by this. Their health care is not going to suffer because of this, but yours and mine is. And that is the biggest piece of fucking shit that I've even heard. Them fucking pricks up in their ivory tower, they're privileged assholes, are going to put limitations on my health care and let their own run rampant? Are you fucking kidding me? How the hell is that a free nation to have their leaders do that to the people? See, these people ain't supposed to be them people. They're not supposed to be of privilege. They're supposed to be one of us and treated as such. That does not mean that they get a free pass to write themselves in legislative authority to not even be held accountable to the laws or be restricted by the laws that they write. That is not the way it was intended. That ain't the way it's supposed to be. And I know I didn't say that right, but I know you guys understand what the fuck I'm talking about. And if you don't, go to school. If you don't understand that, go get your ass back to kindergarten. Because apparently you missed something along the way. If you voted for that prick, fuck you. I'm out.